What was once one of my favorite games now sadly became a bit stale. Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Fallout 4 Nuka World. And this is the final DLC for Fallout 4. But for you to understand how I went into playing this DLC, let me tell you about my experience with the base game first. I absolutely loved Fallout 4. It was the second game I ever played on PC, because I used to be a full-time PS4 player and only recently switched. Fallout 4 gave me what I always wanted, which is a boatload of solid content that all was worth playing, if not twice. It was fun, fast and addicting, so I would have easily given it a solid 8.5, no questions asked. Now something else you also need to know is that I'm not a huge fan of open world games. Now with the exception of the Assassin's Creed franchise, but that has gone to shit well after Black Flag. But then Fallout 4 shows up on my doorstep with Todd Howard and his huge, massive, heavy download files of cool wasteland shit and shows me that it is indeed possible to shove more than 100 hours into an open world game and still have fun. Although, if you've listened closely in the beginning, it does become stale after that. So I'm going to tell you what this DLC is going to change and what it's not going to change. Let's dive in. Fallout 4 Nuka World gives you another new map to explore. Granted, this one is a little on the small side, but it is more densely packed with content than the regular Wasteland is. And it is nicely themed too. As you might guess, it is completely themed after Nuka-Cola, which brings you back with the feeling of the days before the bombs fell. The Nuka theme also brings with it new variations of the Nuka-Cola drinks, each with different buffs and benefits, which is new and refreshing. My god, that was horrible. As with each of the DLCs of Fallout, there's also new characters, some of which I actually really liked, like all the robots who are programmed with Wild West accents.
This whole area is infested with bloodworms and who knows what else. It's not safe.
You must mean the no good outlaws that are coming out of Matt Mulligan's mine. Well, partner, if you're interested in lending a hand, I could use a new deputy. What do you say?
I guess I could bring a little law and order to these parts, Sheriff. You got yourself a deputy.
Or Oswald the Outrageous, who seriously is one of the most oh my god, who is seriously one of the most tragic backstories in the entirety of Fallout 4. Which I won't spoil here, but it did make me feel really sad while blasting him away with a railgun afterwards. And this might be a little egotistic to say, but I really like the sarcastic reactions you can give to all of them. It shows that even though the game is basically about a highly radiated wasteland, it is never a bad time for some well-placed sarcasm. And it did make me chuckle for a little bit from time to time.
Sound like name of snake from old zoo.
Oh, maybe Doctor Under Giant Metal Snake.
The, giant metal snake. Of course.
New friend funny. How not see giant metal snake? It big.
Now I am going to give a spoiler warning, because the story told in Nuka World is both positive and negative, and I do really feel that some things need to be told about it before buying it. I will try to keep it to a minimum, but if you feel like you want nothing spoiled, just be safe and go to this timestamp in the video. Now, the story of Nuka World starts like any other side quest starts, with someone needing help and you going out of your way to help, then killing a ton of people and killing the end boss. In this case, you become the boss of the entire Nuka World theme park after you're slain him. Now, that is all fine and dandy, but Nuka World is divided between raider gangs, and it is up to you to clear out the park of any other threats and make it prosperous for the raider gangs. Which is new, seeing they were always the enemy, but now you are suddenly their leader. However, this is where we cross over into the negatives. When you've cleared the park and made it all nice and cozy for the raiders, they want to do something more and start targeting the Commonwealth. You've spent so much time making better. They actually want you to take down everything you've built over more than 100 gameplay hours. What? Now, it is smart, seeing that this is the last DLC and you're never going to play it again afterwards. So it's mere like, who cares? But still, I cared. I didn't want to destroy everything I've created. Now, sort of luckily, and it'll become clear in a moment why I said sort of, there's an alternative to laying waste to all your achievements. In the beginning of the DLC, when you just became the leader of all the gangs in the park, but did not improve it yet, one of the slaves kept by the raiders tells you to kill all the raider leaders and give the park back to the traders, and make the park prosperous for all non-asshole people, which did sound nice, so I kept it in the back of my head. And when the raiders decided they wanted to go to the Commonwealth and lay waste to everything I've built, I thought it was a better plan to kill them all instead. Which would have been nice if it did not cancel all the other missions and basically ended the DLC right then and there. So if you don't want to destroy everything in your Commonwealth, you buy a $20 DLC for 2 hours of gameplay at most. Now I know that story isn't everything, and that is true, but when I look at the fun characters I just mentioned, I also realize that they are few and far between. Yes, some are fun, but most are just assholes. You don't even care about them. When looking back, I found the other characters in the Far Harbor DLC so much more interesting and nice. It made me happy to work for them, and you don't get the feeling here. Unless you're a naturally evil person, which in this case just go buy the DLC now, it is for you. And also, I found that the enemy variation was pretty horrible. It was just reskins of old enemies and left you with the feeling that you've all killed them before. Nothing about the DLC felt new. It is all like things I had done before in previous play sessions, even if they were slight variations. And that is not a great feeling to have. Fallout 4 Nuka World is more the same. It is a classic gameplay that you expect, but more and more of it. Which actually wouldn't be a problem if you're new to the game. But for me, with over 130 hours played, it felt stale and a bit old. The grind of killing and looting can only be entertaining for so long. And if the story also becomes pretty shitty halfway through, you lose interest fast. And that's exactly what a DLC should prevent. It should have revitalized my interest for the game, or at least kept me entertained with the content it had. However, I think there's an argument to be made for doing a completely new playthrough of the entire game, but starting with the Raiders and Nuka World, and then build your Commonwealth from there. I did not try that, but it would seem interesting to me, and I could see how that could make for some cool changes to the Commonwealth. However, I feel like you're better off not spending your money on this DLC, even though the new possibilities. So with that said, I can tell you that Fallout 4 Nuka World is not worth the money.